What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this one I want to break down what's going on with NIO stock in a very important level to be watching for. I'm also going to talk about SPY, Tesla, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers, what the news is saying about NIO, and what you should be watching for as time progresses. But before I begin to have all this information, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks, and this offer ends very, very soon. So check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with NIO. NIO is up 0.95% for the day. I was anticipating yesterday it would drop a little bit more, then get a nice bounce right back up. And this is what ended up happening today. We got a nice bounce after a very monstrous red day we saw from yesterday. And now NIO is starting to form a bullish wedge right over here, which could lead to even more upside. We first have to see NIO break above the 30-minute 50 EMA to get that bullish confirmation, to eventually push back up towards this 8.7 area. From a technical standpoint, we have an inverse head and shoulders like structure, which could lead to some upside as we have an imbalance to fill close to $9. So there could be a nice move coming out for tomorrow, but we're going to be watching to see if that ends up being the case. Now, for the whole market, there's just one reminder I have. Basically, we have some data for tomorrow. Before the market opens, we have initial jobless claims at 8:30 a.m. We want this to be between 260 and 225,000. If it's way too high, it's not going to be too good. If it's too low, it's not going to be great either. We want this to be well in the middle. And then on top of that, at 11:30 a.m., we have the 4-week and the 8-week bill auctions coming out. We'll be watching these as well. That's pretty much it for data for tomorrow. Nothing too crazy, nothing too insane. Now, NIO announced some bullish news, which is helping it bounce. The news has come out that on January 3rd, NIO and Longi, I may be saying that wrong, but I'm sorry about that. But basically, these companies, that's a green energy technology company. This basically has formed a partnership with NIO. This is a strategic cooperative agreement, and they're aiming to contribute towards achieving the goal of peak carbon and carbon neutral. This is once again very, very important for the transportation sector in China. And this is very, very important. So we have more details about this right over here. Basically, NIO's 4th generation battery swap stations will be equipped with 60 square meters of different photovoltaic systems, and that's basically going to help them save a lot more electricity per year per station. This is very, very important stuff. This is going to help them become more efficient and utilize like clean energy, and they're going to continue to promote different charging stations to continue to be successful and more green. On top of this is going to be a lot more efficient for them because this is going to help increase the status for carbon neutral mobility. And that's great news for NIO as they're continuing to maintain their purposes. They actually have a picture right here of what it's going to likely look like. You guys can see it right over here. That's great news for them, and I can't wait for what else the future holds. There's also some news that came out right over here. Let me just close these ads. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know why that popped up, but they're revealing the ET9 EV flagship, promising the ultra-fast 600 kilowatts charging. That this came out during NIO days. This is still great news for them, as it's still making a lot of headlines as fast charging is now going to be incorporated in this. So that's once again charging at speeds of up to 600 kilowatts per hour. That is absolutely incredible, and I can't wait for what the future holds for them. This means that in very, very short periods of time, they can actually charge these vehicles and then drive them for very, very long periods of time. We're going to be looking for how this is going to look like, but it's basically saying right over here, under optimal conditions, it is possible to recharge at a rate that will provide up to 185 miles of additional charge in just 5 minutes. So that ends up being the case. That's going to be very cool for them. Very, very fast charging is what they need. And this can be very useful for people who are on the roads, want something else like that. There's also some news right here that the NIO models have shorter wait times now. They went from 3 to 4 weeks to 2 to 3 weeks. We actually have the models here: the ET5, ET5 Touring, EC7, and ES8. That's it for like the main news affecting NIO. Volume is drying up at only 58 million, and there's not really anything changing in terms of the data. Price risk ratio is going up a little bit as NIO is trying to bounce. Thursdays are known for being green about 50% of the time, so it's kind of like 50-50. And we're only green about 60% of the time at 2 o'clock p.m. That's the most volatile hour. So we'll see how things go. But now, now let's just break down the technicals. What do I see for NIO? We have a potential inverse head and shoulders like structure developing on NIO, so we might see this thing gap down tomorrow, but watch to see if it holds support. If it could break 8.5 as resistance, watch for a push back up towards $9, 8.9 to 9. We could get a very nice bounce from here if we get that move. If you want to be bearish on NIO, you want to see this thing basically lose 8.25. If we lose that, we could turn a bit more bearish and come back down. A little drop in NIO, then an outperformance is very probable. We might see NIO bounce again as the market is coming back down. But looking at SPY, unfortunately, although SPY made an attempt to bounce, I just want to note that it's still looking bearish right now. There's no sign of this bouncing yet. And we could be looking for a move back down to 467. Then we're going to be watching to see if buyers defend 468. So SPY looks like it might actually kind of like gap up, kind of push up tomorrow morning. And we're going to be watching to see if it comes back down towards 468. If we lose this 468 support, we're going to turn even more bearish. If we hold it, we could see some buyers step in. So we're going to be watching that test. A little gap up tomorrow, then a drop is very probable. And we're going to be watching to see if buyers defend or not. As far as Tesla goes, Tesla's still looking weak, down another 4%. It is oversold now. It's still looking very weak on the 4-hour time frame. We could see a backtest of the 200 EMA though at 243. If you want to turn bullish, you want to see it break above 244 and hold it. If not, we might reject off that and just continue to sink towards 230. So a little pop is likely going to come, then a drop, and we'll watch and see how it goes from there. As far as Apple goes, this is not showing any signs of bouncing quite yet. Still kind of holding down here. It's kind of shopping in this zone. I could see it test 185 and then continue to just range trade. Not a whole lot is going on with Apple. On the QQQ, I wouldn't be surprised if on the 4-hour time frame it ends up retesting resistance at 400 to 402 and then it rejects and comes back down to 393. I think it's going to be testing 393 very soon. Still looks very weak, no sign of it bouncing. And it's going to be basically testing this 200 EMA soon. So a little bounce and a drop is likely going to come. And we're going to be watching to see how it reacts to 200 EMA. So it does not look like it's done quite yet. On Nvda, we're going to be watching how it reacts towards this 4-hour 200 EMA. We're just below this. We're trying to test it. If we reject off of it again, off 478, look for a rejection and move back down towards 470. If we break it back above this and close above, there is potential for 482 again. So we're going to be watching that very, very carefully. But for now, Nvidia is still looking very weak. It's trying to base here. It might actually pop a little bit more, but it's still looking weak. It looks like it might reject later on. That's it for the main ones that I typically go over. Now, as for NIO, NIO looks like it has some potential. If you look at the 4-hour time frame, it's starting to curl. It also bounced off the 4-hour 200 EMA. I called this out yesterday, and this is where we ended up bouncing very close to. So I could see 8.7 plus and eventually $9 coming if it does continue to push. It's showing some life. It looks like it wants to outperform the market. And the daily looks like it's a little bullish right here. Might try to rebound a little bit more before we continue any lower. So watch and see if NIO can hold support. Do we end up breaking above 8.5? If we continue to do so, look for a push towards 8.7, then 8.93 to fill our imbalance. Could get very close to $9. For today, we have a bullish wedge forming on NIO. I mean, we want to see this thing break 8.5 to turn more bullish. But with that being said, guys, that's it for this video. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day. Remain calm, cool, and collected. And I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Thank you and peace out.